بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي المشاهدين، نسمع الآن عن حروب قادمة بسبب الرقائق الإلكترونية. ما هي الرقائق الإلكترونية؟ ليش هي مهمة؟ ليش الشركات قاعدة تتصارع بسبب الرقائق الإلكترونية؟ شو السالفة؟ أعزائي المشاهدين، طبعا عندنا مستر كريستوف الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة إعجاز المتخصصة في الديب تكنولوجي، التكنولوجيا العميقة. أنا سويت حلقة في السابق ومستر كريس كان ضيف معنا في 3 حلقات، والآن راح نزعجه بعد زيادة. نبي نتكلم عن الرقائق الإلكترونية، الحروب القادمة، حروب الرقائق الإلكترونية. مستر كريستوف، ويلكم باك.
Good evening, Aziz. Thank you for having me.
كيف حالك؟
كله تمام.
كله تمام.
كله تمام.
Mr. Christoph, sorry for bothering you every time, but we are living in deep technology time. So we have to ask for your support, please. What is the electronic chips? Can you tell us about it?
Yes, in the 60s, some engineers that got the Nobel Prize developed the transistor, which was something changing from the vacuum tube that we had before. And the transistor, we quickly find a way to put a lot of transistor on very little chips. So all the electronic circuits at this time are built on electronic chips. It means from the telephone to what you have in your car to even in a fridge, for instance. Yes, it's, yeah.
So we have that mobiles, tablets, cars,
fridge, washing machine, even in the cable that is used to recharge your telephone, there is a chip inside. If you have a TV, for instance, of course there is a chip. There is a chip also in the remote control. There is a chip almost in any systems, any modern system at this time. They are produced in a very high quantity at very low price by some companies.
But what about the cars in the 80s and the 70s? They were not electronic chips. Why now?
Because at this time the cars were not, first the technology was not enough developed to be able to install electronic chips in cars. But now you see that we are trying to have a green planet and to improve the efficiency of the engines and to have a lot more informations like GPS, like music, etc. in the cars. So all this needs electronic chips.
So let us make it simple. Electronic chips. Do you mean that this electronic chips make the car more computerized?
Absolutely, absolutely.
This is what you mean?
Yes, not only more computerized, but you cannot imagine now a car with technology from the 1980s. I mean, the management of the engine, just the management of the engine, is made millisecond by electronic chips with a lot of sensors that get the data and that manage the injection of fuel, the sparkles for the. It means that it's really relying on electronic chips. Without that, you cannot make.
Can we say that the electronic chips is the brain that running all kinds of devices? Do you mean by that?
Yes.
It's the brain.
It's the brain in a certain way. Yes.
And making it more modernized. So it's not like manual gear and carburetor and this old school.
If we speak about
no electronic chips, because we want to make it simple for the viewers.
Of course. If we speak about cars, of course. If we speak about TV, you remember the old TV, they were slow, they were not very good. Now we get very high definition, incredible colors, very large size. All this is relying on the
This is all
chips.
because of the
all of this chips. Because of the electronic.
Okay, we heard, Mr. Chris, that there is a shortage now in the manufacturing of the electronic chips. Yes. Why there's a shortage? A lot of people, they make special orders for some kind of cars, and the dealers tell them you have to wait for 1 year. And I heard that also Apple, they're gonna decrease their number of production because of the shortage of the electronic. What's going on, Mr. Chris?
The problem is mostly created by the COVID-19. The COVID-19 has been a big problem because, particularly in China, a lot of factories had to stop working because of the COVID. So they decided, even for one case, they were closing or shutting down a factory or a harbor, for instance. So all the production of products that comes from the raw materials, then production, then packaging, then transportation, then distribution, all this has been deeply in trouble since the COVID-19. So you have to think that we don't provide, there is no factory that will build a product immediately and make this product available to the public. If you take the iPhone, for instance, it's built in 43 different countries. So we have spare parts coming from 43 different places. Even the packaging, let's say at this time the packaging is built in China, for instance, or in Czechoslovakia. If there is no packaging, you can have your iPhone, you cannot ship it, you cannot sell the product, and it will be late in the shops. Yeah. So every little details. You can produce a TV. You don't have the chip to produce, for instance, the remote control. You cannot sell your TV. It's useless.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just the dashboard of a car. You don't have the chip that manage, let's say, the images that appears on the dashboard, and then you cannot sell your car because for these small little details, that is sometimes 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, the car is useless. You see, so there is a big shortage and problems in the supply production in the supply chain at this time.
Yeah. Okay. Who's the number one country that producing the electronic chips?
And
or they are controlling, or
this is exactly the problem. There is one country which is producing more than 70% of all the electronic chips in the world, which is Taiwan. And one company in Taiwan, which is named TSMC. Then you have the second producer of electronic chip in the world is Samsung from South Korea. And the third one is SMIC from China.
So let us be clear, please. 70%
70% Taiwan, 20% Samsung in Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
And then almost 10% in China.
10% China.
Yes. If you take United States, it would be
so Far East, they are controlling
more than 80% of the electronic chips in the world.
So that's why China wants to invade Taiwan?
I'm not sure about that. I know that this is definitely important because electronic chips are...
There is a lot of talk rising up that there is going to be a war coming soon because of the electronic chips.
It's not only because of that, but I would say that it's probably some important decision, yes, because, for instance, China with SMIC wanted to increase the production of electronic chip, and the government from Donald Trump decided to block the standing machines which were from Netherlands to China to forbid the Chinese to build and to increase their production or to modernize their productions. So Taiwan is basically the main producer of the world. So Taiwan becomes, of course, very interesting for a country like China, because if China can take control of Taiwan, they will control the production of the electronic chip in the world, which means that strategically it's a disaster for the rest of the world, because we can become even more dependent on China.
Yeah. So do you think if China invade Taiwan and take full control of the electronic chips, do you think there's going to be a war, a third war?
Let's say that it will.
Is the electronic chips that important?
Yes.
For
every
world, that if you make a blockade against it, there's some kind of force going up, will go up.
If you control the electronic chip, you control the militaries of other countries.
The military also.
Of
We
course.
didn't speak about the military.
Because
Even the rockets, even
the
the
rockets, the planes,
missiles.
the missiles, anything, any tank, any vehicles from military use a lot of electronic chips, a lot. So if you block the supply chain of these materials, you can stop an army of working. They will be not able to work anymore because they will not be able to replace or even to improve or to modernize their equipment.
So do you agree with me that the electronic chips may be one of the reasons that the
Yes. That
World War III will come?
could be one of the reasons, yes.
Or maybe the main reason?
Or maybe the main reason. This
No, but
I leave it to you.
I need your opinion.
Yeah, there are other reasons. but
Because
yes, it is-
if you stop the electronic chips, as you said, the military will stop, the iPhone will stop. I don't think the world will let China to take control of the
This-
electronic chips.
I would say that differently, but the same conclusion. It might be the reason why United States is ready to defend Taiwan against China because of this.
Okay, why these three countries? Taiwan, Korea, China. Why America? They don't manufacturing the electronic chips.
America is manufacturing less than 5% of the electronic chips of the world. So I know
Why they
that-
don't increase? Is there some kind of reason, like raw materials? What is the reason that they
No.
don't make a lot of factories manufacturing the electronic chips?
The reason was mostly
I don't know what's the
economical.
technical reason.
Non technical, economical. It means that a lot of factories in the world found it was best to buy to Taiwan because it was much cheaper than to other countries. So United States lost the control of this industry, I would say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is economical reason.
It is mostly economic.
It's cheaper
yes.
to buy it from
buy-
Taiwan than build a new factory and
Exactly.
Yes, I agree.
If you take TSMC, which is the Taiwanese factory which is producing 70% of the microchips in the world, they are trying to improve their productions and the quality of their productions and the quantity of their production, and they are investing $100 billion for the next 4 years. If you can have an idea of for 100 billion, it's more or less the budget of Qatar for 1 year. Yeah, and it's a private company.
Yeah. Do you think investing in electronic chips feasible?
I think yes, TSMC is definitely in the stock market. Yes, it's a good idea.
Let's do it, you and me.
Yes.
So do you want to add something, Mr. Chris, regarding the electronic chips? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to give some more information for the viewers, please?
Yes, I
So
think
now for me, I believe that the future wars will be all about the electronic chips, and that's what I believe.
Yeah, and electronic chips is not only the part which is a problem for the industries, and because after the COVID, everybody wanted to buy product. Before you were buying services, you were going to concert, to cine, to restaurants. With the COVID, everything like that, every service was blocked. So people are saying, okay, I'm saving money, I want to buy the last PlayStation, a new iPhone, a new computer, more powerful computer. So the increase in the requests for buying goods has been high, very high after this. And the problem is many factories were closed during the COVID-19 crisis, and these factories are restarting, but meanwhile the demand is so high that they cannot cope with the demand, and this is a big problem. Not only this, but also factories that are doing carton packages for products, boats to transport containers, because you know that the containers, when you reach 10 or 15 years, it has to be discarded because it's not able anymore to transport products. So China is producing the container, and there is a lack of container at this time in the world. So everything is very affected by the COVID-19 crisis.
Mr. Christoph, thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, Aziz.
You've been very wonderful and generous with us. This is the fourth time you've been with us.
And hopefully not the last one.
شكرا حبيبي. أعزائي المشاهدين، طبعا يمكن مستر كريس ما يبي يدخل في الأمور السياسية، لكن أنا تحليلي أنا أعتقد لو في أي حرب قادمة ستكون بسبب هذه قراءاتي طبعا الآن التقارير اللي أنا أقراها بسبب الرقائق الإلكترونية، بسبب تجارة، في النهاية التجارة، بسبب عدم الإضرار بالمصالح التجارية ممكن تقوم حرب كبيرة ما بين أمريكا ما بين الصين من أجل الدفاع عن تايوان، من أجل فعلا أنا قلت لكم قبل أن احنا عايشين في غابة همهم المصالح. مو مشكلة الحروب تقوم، مو مشكلة شعوب تتدمر، مو مشكلة، لكن أهم شيء أن المصالح لا تتضرر. وأنا أنصحكم أنكم تقرون أكثر عن الرقائق الإلكترونية اللي فعلا الآن تدخل في صناعات عديدة. كل حاجة، حتى أنت طفلك الآن يلعب بلاي ستيشن there is electronic chips in the PlayStation also, right? So,
yes, a lot.
So I think our children gonna kick our
That's the problem.
أعزائي المشاهدين يعطيكم الصحة والعافية. أي حد عنده سؤال أو استفسار ممكن يبعثها على واتساب القناة، وممكن احنا نعرضها مرة ثانية على السيد كريس. يعطيكم الصحة والعافية.